Howdy folks, and welcome back to another weekly tech tip with Ben. And this week we have a really fun one for you. This is going to get the creative juices flowing. We're going to leverage AI in a whole new way to create some awesome resources for your classroom that before was impossible. So we're going to do this using ChatGPT and DALL-E. Now I have ChatGPT Plus, we have the paid subscription. I highly recommend you get it. It is one of the most useful tools. It's really great for generating images, for generating content, for anything like that. You can do this in a free way. It does take more time, but I found kind of a workflow that works really quick, and I can generate a book, which is what we're doing today, in no time at all. So let's have a look at the process I use to create some content for some students at varying grade levels and ages. So we're going to start off within ChatGPT. I'm going to ask it to create a children's book about cells and their organelles. It should be about 10 pages. For each page, create a write-up about the organelle or cell part, including a highly detailed DALL-E prompt for generating the image. So I'm asking it to create a story, so some text base, and then an image with it. So then I let that run. It's gonna burn through, and I asked for 10 pages. So I want a 10-page book, and it's just ripping through all the different organelles, making text prompts and image prompts. So now that we have that, I'm gonna say, can you please generate the images for the first 5 pages that you described? So because it already made the text prompts, I'll just say, why don't you make those images now? I find that if you run all 10 at once, it kind of can bog it down a bit. And I said, have them 16 by 9, which is a nice framing for images. And I want to make sure they're all within the same style. So now I just sit back and it starts kicking out images that it had prompted. And then it tells me what it's made. So I want to say, okay, based on the images that you've already made, I want you to generate like the next 5. Now here I ran into a problem. I lost that style. See, it kind of went cartoony. So I went back up to one of the CG more looking images. I downloaded it, my little mitochondria in the gym. I'm going to attach that. And what's nice about DALL-E is you can attach an image as a reference. So I said, okay, so the last 5 images should have a style like the one I've attached. So now I can reference that image and it can generate based on that. Now it gave me a weird thing back, so I just said, what is that? And it's kind of neat because you can talk to it, and so it's like, oh, it was supposed to be vacuoles in a warehouse. But then it realizes it's not really capturing that theme or that style that I was looking for. And so it actually will do it itself, and it gave me this as the vacuole. I didn't really like that one either, so I kind of regenerated it later. So I said, starting at page 6 with the Golgi apparatus, generate the last 5 images, and then I just let it run. And then it's just going to kick it out. So now that I have my images, I'm gonna jump into Book Creator. Okay, so I hop into Book Creator, and I'm gonna choose Landscape 4x3. So this is a free program. A lot of elementary teachers have used it. You can use anything. You can use Canva, anything like that. I'm just gonna start taking these images and throwing them onto each page of the book that I've made, okay? Now I'm gonna resize them so that they all kind of take up the top of the page. And then I just go back up and I copy and paste the text from each of those 10 prompts from earlier. And I'm just gonna pop those down below the images. And then I'm just gonna size them up a bit, change the fonts, and then it's good to go. So I'm just gonna burn through this real quick in a time lapse, just go back and forth copying whatever DALL-E told me. I proofread it first to make sure that it was okay. So now I have the images, I'm copying and pasting the words in. All right, and then I put a little cover on the front of it. So it's by ChatGPT, finished it off, and this is what we have. We have a book now.
Welcome to the tiny world of cells. Cells are the building blocks of all living things. Let's explore the amazing parts inside a cell. Meet the nucleus, the control center of the cell. It holds all the instructions the cell needs to grow and work. Say hello to the mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. They provide energy for all the cell's activities. These tiny dots are ribosomes. They are like little factories making proteins that the cell needs. The endoplasmic reticulum is a maze of passages for transporting things around the cell. Meet the Golgi apparatus, the cell's post office. It packages and sends materials to different parts of the cell. Lysosomes are like recycling bins. They break down waste and worn-out parts to keep the cell clean. Vacuoles are storage rooms. They store food, water, and other materials needed by the cell. The cell membrane is like a security guard. It decides what can enter or leave the cell. Every part of the cell works together to keep it alive and healthy. Just like the cells, we can work together too. You've reached the end of the book. Read again.
So that was a lovely little story. You can see here's another example of a book about the water cycle I threw together with kind of an anime vibe. And these are targeting like quite young grade levels, but I mean you can make the same book for 3 different grade levels, just change up the language. And all this is done by leveraging the power of ChatGPT. So you can see it kind of makes really neat books. So you can do it within Google Slides, you can do it within Canva, you can do it with so many different tools. So as I said, all you're doing is asking it to come up with 10 pages, 10 image prompts, and if you don't have DALL-E, because you can do that on ChatGPT 3.5 for free, and if you don't have DALL-E, you can put those prompts into another image generator and still get it. It just isn't as automatic as this. Where that whole book took me about a half hour to make, but only 10 to 15 minutes of actually like conscious effort of sitting there and kind of moving things around. Because once you set it to run, you can just ignore it as it runs, and then you just have to piece it all together. There's a bit of proofing at the end. So lastly, I'm just gonna show you an example. I did the same thing, put the book into Canva, and you can actually, so that was Snoop Dogg reading the book, but you can actually have you reading the book if you record a video of you presenting it. So I'll show you that here at the end. So just a little bonus round, you can actually, if you threw this together in Canva, you could present it and record yourself so you could read the stories to your students asynchronously. So we could just go through. Welcome to the tiny world of cells. Cells are the building blocks of all living things. Let's explore the amazing parts inside a cell. Meet the nucleus, the control center of the cell. All right, so that's it for this week. In a video upcoming, we're gonna actually look at how could we turn that into an actual animated video, which is really exciting. Taking it one step further to creating some really awesome content for your students and learning a lot for yourself about how to use this generative AI stuff. All right, see you in the next one.